So hello. It has been a bit, mostly for reasons you don't care about. I have been getting some work done that doesn't record well though. You will see a little bit of that today. You will also maybe hear my fan and see me sweat a bit because it's like 300% humidity while I'm recording. But I want to record. I want to get some stuff done. I haven't done a video in I don't know how long. And, so today, what we gonna do is we're going to work on an actual proper in the game cutscene. You may recall this one right here. This was a test one we did several months ago. Right now, what we're going to do is we're going to put one that is actually going to be in the game itself. And the idea of this one is, let me herb tea it up. This is going to be the cutscene that kind of implies to the player that this door right here is a dungeon. Or is a place they gotta go to. It's not going to say dungeon. It's going to name drop this address. And players gotta go there. Okay? Okay. That's the thing we're going to do. I have already made a couple NPCs here. Talking animation was really difficult for me to get this pixel size, but these are just two background NPC geishas. You can see they're going to have a conversation that the player is overhearing. Kind of written it, I don't know, this is behind my head. Kind of written it out, a few lines. Geisha's telling the player, go to this address, and it's also going to be this note here. And it's just, there isn't going to be any complicated animation or anything. It's just going to be when one of the characters is talking, their mouth is moving, and when the other character is talking, their mouth is moving. And that's it. This is very simple overhearing a little bit of information cutscene. And yeah, so what do I need to do? You may see these notes here. Chapter 1, page 1. That's the way I'm dividing up the story. I have a big Excel sheet that I'm like putting all the story bits into, but because it's open world, the player isn't going to get all the details kind of in the same order every time. The chapter is kind of the broad state of the world at any given point in time. And the page is the stuff going on now. And there might be a few things going on now, and the player isn't going to be able to see all of them. But this is a thing going on now. Basically, once the player enters the beginning area, you get this one. So, let's move the mic out of my way a little bit. Might not be on camera. But it's better that it be on camera than it be in my way. I don't know if that's probably be around my head. That's the scene we're making. Chapter 1, page 1, scene 1. So it's going to be a chapter 0. That's the prologue. That's basically teaching the basics of how to play the game. We are not going to be making that for a bit. Okay. So note, and I already established here, this is note 4. But the other thing I want this to do, and I already set this up, is I want this scene to only come up if you've seen it, which means I need to save whether you've seen it or not. I have already put that in the save. And we're going to need to save that you have seen it, but right now it's just... Alright, instance destroy. If they've already seen this thing, instance destroy. Good. And I'm not going to, like, generalize this so that it always says this for every cutscene, because some cutscenes I might want to still be there after a player's seen it. Like, see it a couple times. So, but this one doesn't. So this one's getting deleted. I'm going to need to figure out where I'm creating this object at some point. I'm not going to do that yet. Okay. The computer just did a thing. We're back. Anyway. If it's not chapter 1 and it's not page 1, it'll delete the instance. Or delete this object. It's only here at that time of the story. If you don't get it at that time of the story, it's not there, so you don't get it. Alright? Cool. Should probably make a sprite for cutscenes. Just so I could see them on the world better. We're not going to do that at the moment, though. Okay. So I needed to make this NPCs. And the reason we're doing that is we have these two NPCs I showed a little bit ago. Her, Old Geisha, and Tall Geisha. And I'm going to create these. I'm going to create these as objects. Creating them as objects so they're there so that the cutscene object can tell them where to be and how to animate them. Okay. I could run these a lot like the samurai ones. They're actually just running generalized scripts. Yeah, like all the animation here. So we're going to... This is what we want to set. And we're going to add more to this as we go along. So we need Annie stand, and we need Annie talk. And we're just going to use these samurai animations for now. That's fine. With that. And then step. Step. We're going to take the enemy animation stuff. This is going to be just hard-coded animation. Because I don't... They're not going to have physics or anything. Probably later on I might add physics to cutscene NPCs. That'll make my life very difficult. But we're not going to worry about that second. I should rename this one to Pedestrian AI. We're not going to worry about that. Okay. We need a variable that says what animation it's doing. And whatever I'm setting this variable to, that's the animation the thing's doing. Good? Good? That makes sense? Cool. And I'll add more to this as I expand the NPC code. So right now, we'll assume those are... There's going to need to be like special things and stuff. I already know cutscenes I'm going to be making in the future. I'll need to add like run and attack and push this guy over or whatever. But this is it. This is it for now. This is all we're worrying about right now. This makes sense. State 0 is stand. So if state 0 do stand, which is set there. Okay. Good. I have a feeling I'm going to want the talk animation to be a variable speed. I'm hard setting the sprite index. Okay. Okay. That's not a bad idea. I don't think I want to be hard setting the image index for cutscene NPCs. I think I want to use animation speed. Okay. So, and then we will duplicate this. So, now I have this. So I have my cutscene object, controller object. I have two NPCs that I can tell to talk or stand. What I need to do is now figure out where in the world am I setting this. So I want this to be not too far away. So this store right here is, I think, going to be where the player starts in the level. I want this to be not terribly far away from there. Something the player can run into randomly, but not too close to the actual door, which is there. Yeah, since I'm starting to work on where the actual game and not just testing, let's set the player over. I want the player starting. It'll give me a better feel of things. And if I'm doing that, I might as well just set this cutscene nearby, and I can move it later to where I want it, which means I want this generalized so I can move cutscenes around easier. And so now that we're doing this cutscene, need to actually create our two NPCs. I think the one other thing I want to check right now is to make sure that the game is actually set to chapter 1, page 1. It is. Okay. So, let's make sure the two characters spawn where it's supposed to be. That's our first step. Okay. Error. What's my error? Something is looking for something. Something is looking for something. Is that helpful? Semester controller. Checking that. Okay. Anything else? Nope. We good? Okay. Cool. So what happens when you just copy code out of something else is miss half the stuff you actually need to make it work. That's okay. Okay, game didn't crash. That's the start. And I don't see my NPCs. I have a hunch I already know why it did this. Yep. X plus 8. X minus 8. Blah, blah, blah. Has to be relative to the position and not just a hard location. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Alright. There are my two NPCs. They're not lit up correctly. That's an easy thing to fix. But they are there. Also, the wrong one's in front. Also an easy thing to fix. Right. We're just going to straight up copy the lighting. Now lit correctly. And I think all I got to do to make the one in front of the other is just change the order I'm creating them in. Alright. They're not showing up correctly. They're also still in the wrong order. If there's still the wrong one in front of the other one, I might just like hard set their layers or whatever. Alright, now they're lit correctly. And they're in front of the NPCs in the back, or the pedestrians in the back. I'm getting little cutscene notifications, probably behind my head. That's okay. Just hard setting this. Tired of the nonsense. Don't want to have to make them in a right order. Good. They better be in the right order now. Perfect. Okay. They're there now. They're there where I want them to be. Good. So, next step. I'm actually going to copy all this and put it in a notepad file on my other screen so I can see what line's supposed to be where while I'm coding all this. Okay, good. So, stage 1. And what this is doing is just giving like half a second for the scene. I think a lot of my cutscenes are going to do this, but I want this to be a set stage so that I can like take it out if I don't want it. Right? Okay. Okay, text box 1, location 1. So, now we're doing a thing. We are going to, I have this all up already. Alright, so if this does what I want, also, while I'm over here, there's one, and they're facing the direction they were already facing. It's fine. So, walking up to them, I should get that one. I should get the one line. We'll see if I get the one line. And the old guy should start talking. Then when I end that old line, neither of them will talking. Right? Good? Good? Right? Okay. Okay. Cutscene start. She is not talking. It ended. And it gave me the note I wanted, though. See? The note for the address. Oh. Ha 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 ha. I'm not setting it to talk. Gee, I wonder why it isn't going to the talk. Okay. She's, that's animating, alright. And stopped animating. Alright, so, she started animating and stopped animating. The animation speed's a problem. That's an easy fix. Alright, alright. Much more sensible animation speed. So, what we're going to do is we're just going to add the rest of the lines to this and see what happens. Actually, want the tall geisha to talk a little bit slower. We'll see how that worked. I have a hunch this should work. So I planned this out. This part of what it took me so long to make this is I actually planned how I was going to be doing the system. Can you imagine planning ahead of time before coding something? Nonsense. craziness. Okay, and yeah, actually, so this is the way it ends. I actually want the old Geisha to stay talking, and also need to move the camera up a little bit because again, the actual object, as you totally see my hand, is at the Geisha's feet. I need to move it up like 50, 60 pixels, and maybe move it in front of them a little bit. We're going to leave the old Geisha at 1. Have her talking speed be really slowed down. Okay, so we got to find the camera object to figure out how I did that. Okay, so here, right here's where I'm doing this. Okay, so this is something in the scene default. Oh, okay, perfect. And I'm on the Y, minus 40. Yeah, that's a much better camera location. Okay. So, I'm actually really happy about this. I like that the old Geisha is still yammering. It's good. I like that. Okay. So, my issue... Maybe I need to zoom the camera in. I think I need to zoom the camera in because it's not very readable, especially with all the background NPCs still animating. Let's try it with zooming the camera in. Let's see how that works. Actually not an enormous fan of how my camera zoom system works, and I may need to like change it later on if I want to be doing nutty stuff in cutscenes with it. Man, this is a bad system. I'm going to need to redo my camera system at some point if I want to keep doing fancy things with it. Because when I coded the camera system, I had not considered cutscenes at all whatsoever when I was coding it. So we'll need to think about that at a later day. Not today. It'll like when there are things I want to do with the camera that I can't do, that's when we'll need to think about it. That didn't work. And it's probably too zoomed in anyway. This is just kind of the inherent problem with an open world game like this where there's just things happening. I kind of wonder if I want to like... So, we're not going to worry about the zoom right now. We're gonna yank that out. And maybe at another time, we will play around with the camera system a bit. What I do want to do is I actually like the old Geisha talking in the background. So I kind of want to see if I could just set that happening. Yeah, I like that. I'm going to need to run this by other people. Or maybe you can give me your own feedback as well. Whether you think that's readable, what's going on. Camera zoom seems like an obvious thing. I like the talking animation. That was like hard to do at this sort of resolution. Like, should I stop the background NPC animation entirely? Should I have them be moving around more? Like, the next scene we're going to do is the weapons dealer giving you equipment when you complete a dungeon. That's going to involve a lot more animation that I haven't finished yet, which is why we're not doing that cutscene today. So maybe having the more movement, maybe if these two were walking around or something, this would work better. I'm going to have to play around with it. I like the note there, though. And also with the way I set this up, I can just move them around pretty easily. So I could set this... Maybe I could create an area where there's fewer NPCs running around. I don't know. Oh, and another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set it so they're only there at certain times a day. We're going to play around with visibility of them more and the distractingness of NPCs at a different time. I'm going to need to get some feedback from some people. Otherwise, I'm happy with how this worked. My cutscene system did exactly what I needed it to do. So yeah, we're going to do a more advanced cutscene next time. Much more complicated. The weapons deal is going to be very complicated things to deal with. That's okay. I'm planning for that. So, I think that is all for today, which is good because I'm just getting an episode done. I'm getting it out. You get to see me do stuff. And hopefully, the next episode won't be nearly so long from now. So, like, comment, subscribe. Those things. Tell me what you think. Tell me how you think I can make the cutscene less distracting with the NPCs in the background. Tell me if you like the format of the cutscene. Tell me what you think I could do better, what I suck at. I realize that the text itself isn't super interesting. It's not trying to be. It's just trying to direct the player to a place. But I could definitely do better on my writing. I'm going to get a lot of practice on writing as I work on the game. So that's okay. And I will see you next time, I think. Maybe, perhaps, chance. Yes? Okay. See you next time.